Hi, everyone. My name is Bahaa Mikhail, founder and president of Payroll Centric. Welcome to another episode of our Payroll Centric podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with an awe-inspiring visionary by the name of Erich Mattei. He's the founder and president of Akrinos. Erich, welcome to the Payroll Centric podcast.
Bahaa, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you with us here. Erich, you and I, we met at one of the Vision Expos last year, and I can tell immediately right there on the trade show floor that we had a lot in common in terms of our customer service philosophy, our client philosophy, and then we discovered that as we've been talking and working together over the last year, that our philosophies are really in alignment. Why don't you tell us about you and tell us about Akrinos?
Yeah, Bahaa, absolutely would love to. And again, thank you so much for having me here on the show. And Bahaa, I think to best sum up what we do here at Akrinos, simply put, we do business consulting in the eye care space. So we work with optometrists, ophthalmologists, and opticians at all phases of practice ownership, and we take a business first approach to consulting and advisory. So our day-to-day is helping doctors achieve their business goals at all phases of that practice life cycle.
Very good. And I imagine, number one, how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, so we're actually coming up on our 5-year anniversary. We launched the company in the summer of 21. I've been around the industry since 2010. Had the opportunity to come into eye care working with a global leader in the space, and through those relationships and understanding of the business, saw an opportunity really to help doctors navigate this complex business environment. And Bahaa, I know you and I have had a lot of conversations off the record, given where our businesses overlap, and now with the fact that we have shared clients, mutual clients that we're working with together, and the tools and resources and expertise that doctors really need to make the right decisions for their business. So again, it's been a magical journey here. And I know you guys recently, as we're celebrating 5 years, I think you guys recently had 25 years.
Yeah, we actually celebrated, we celebrated 20 years last July. It'll be 21
years. That's right.
Yeah, 20 years. 20 years has been an incredible journey. It goes by really fast. So congratulations on the milestone, 5 years.
Thank you.
And just kind of off the cuff here, people ask me on a regular basis, what moved you to found Payroll Centric and to go out. And I wonder, what moved you to pursue Akrinos?
Yeah. Now I love this question. The reason why I love this question, Bahaa, is because I find that this journey that we're on, I suppose this journey that I am on, being the founder of Akrinos, and I think later in the conversation we'll talk about the work that we're doing together with the American Optometric Association. So, outside of Akrinos, I'm a speaker and I'm involved in a lot of different really cool things. But for me, this journey has been really about empowering doctors and making the business of ownership approachable, accessible, and profitable to doctors. And, this isn't so much about, going out and growing a business to get one's name and lights and this and that, but really at the core of what's happening right now. So if we look at what's occurring here in the healthcare system here in the US over the last 15 years, we have all seen it, witnessed firsthand. The rate of provider burnout continues to climb. The cost of care continues to climb. And the overall experience in private practice is really on the skids. When we look at private practice, though, as a segment within the broader ecosystem, we see that in private practice, doctors experience radically less burnout. The cost of care is less to patients. But the overall quality of care is radically higher. As a matter of fact, there's a study out there shows that patients prefer going to an independent private practice up to a rate of 4-to-1 over corporate or hospital healthcare system.
Understandably so.
So looking through that lens, Bahaa, then I'm left to wonder, I think we're all left to wonder, wow, well, if we're seeing that in private practice, everybody wins. I mean, really think about it. If our doctors are better served when they can be in private practice, and if as patients we're better served in private practice, we need to make it easier and more accessible and more approachable for doctors to be in private practice. We've started in the eye care space. Why? Well, that's the space that we come from. It's what we know. But certainly, this journey that we're on, we see as being so much bigger and so much more robust than just eye care. And I got to tell you, that's where it's amazing to have, relationships, the types of collaborations that we do, because I know the work that Payroll Centric does, the importance of stable HR systems, that's something that kind of crosses any business, any industry. So, but
right, because the truth of the matter is, oftentimes optometrists are too busy meeting with their patients, visiting with their patients, and taking care of them, and they don't have enough time to run their business.
Yeah, and if you think about it, we want them to be the best darn doctors they can be.
Right.
Do you want to go to a doctor who's not like totally connected with you when you're going through that experience? So,
right.
And that ties back to, the nature of the work we do. And folks all the time are like, wow, Eric, what do you do? Like what's different? What's different in working with Akrinos is you get a dedicated advisor committed to your practice and using real business, real analytics, depending on where the business is in the life cycle. We do a lot of transition work, helping emerging owners buy them, helping established doctors transition out, and everything in between, to really tie all of the advisory back to core business, and not so much about some of the noise out there that in our experience, folks gravitate to. Why? It's noisy. It's noisy. It's everywhere. Names are in lights. There's a lot of big dollars that are marketing these things, getting names and lights. But at the end of the day, what ties it home and what's really going to deliver the results in that business is the application of this world, this industry, this service area, but really application in one's individual practice, in their unique community, serving their vision. So being able to, through the work we do, bring core business principles and analytics and evaluations and strategy and then implementation to bring that to the modern optometrist who has a vast and ever expanding scope of care. By the way, here, shout out to the OAL here in Louisiana, just passed a major vision benefits, a VBM bill just a couple of weeks prior to our recording here, Bahaa. So, when we look at the expanding scope of care, the changing regulatory environment, and this radically growing demand for care, right? We think vision, we think medical, we think specialty eye care. I am so overwhelmingly bullish on the future of private practice optometry. And, but again, I think it really all ties back to the core business principles and having that always be at the forefront of the advisory. And I know that's what clients share with us. Hey, Eric, that's what makes Akrinos different. You guys are only 5 years in. We went through the gauntlet of everyone else has been doing this for decades, but what we're finding is that what really makes Akrinos different is that this focused business first approach to the consulting. So,
I got to tell you something really funny. It may only feel like 5 years, only 5 years, but my experience in the industry is that 6 degrees of separation between people and Kevin Bacon. It's sort of like 3 degrees of separation between any optometrist and Eric. It's incredible. So, well done on establishing yourself as a visionary, as an expert, and a resource for optometrists who are looking to manage their business and grow their business. So, All right, Eric. Well, I know you and I were meeting next week at the American Optometric Association's optometry meeting in Phoenix. Eric, you're going to be speaking. I'm excited to attend your sessions. Why don't you tell everybody about what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, thank you, Bahaa. So Friday morning, Friday, June 19th, at Optometry's meeting, I'll be delivering 2 hours of COPE CE. Hour one is build the business for a thriving practice. And this really looks at the key steps of the cold start journey. And whether this is cold starting the very first practice or perhaps you're cold starting your next location, we're going to be really peeling it back, get into the nitty gritty of constructing a financial forecast feasibility analysis, which we'll actually do hands-on in the workshop. We'll also dig into geospatial competitor market analyses and just a lot of the other kind of core things you really want to be focused on and paying attention to embarking on that cold start journey. Then hour two, Bahaa, I'll be presenting a workshop called, again, 1 hour COPE CE called From LOI to Closing, the Business Side of the Practice Sale. I'll be co-presenting with Mr. Brad Rourke. Brad is a CPA and ABV, and we'll be talking about this business side of the practice transition, and where Brad's going to be speaking a bit to the seller side, seller preparation. Bahaa, you can trust that myself taking the buyer side, we're going to dig into negotiations, due diligence, and how to kind of better understand and navigate that process to making those sales happen. So really stoked to be delivering some education Friday at Optometry's meeting. But I know also on Thursday, we're doing something together at Optometry's meeting.
That's right.
So why don't you maybe share some of the details around that?
So we're going to be exhibiting at the AOA Center for Independent Practices Symposium and AOA Independent Practice Expo on Thursday afternoon. And I'm really excited about that because that's like a new event that they're putting on. And so this is, you've got this big trade show, but then we get to drill down, and optometrists get to drill down and meet with the people that can really help them grow their businesses. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, this event, Thursday afternoon, Thursday, June 18th at Optometry's meeting in Phoenix, it's the inaugural CIP Independent Practice Symposium. And Bahaa, I've had the opportunity to work with the CIP over the last few years, doing some really cool collaborative education with some of our optometry students that are expressing an interest in private practice. But I know the AOA has been very much looking forward to having a symposium and exhibit hall that is specific to private practice, the independent practice, with more of the business side of things, consulting, payroll and HR services. I believe there's going to be some accounting and finance. I think there's some banks that are going to turn out. So for anyone that's really focused and serious on their business, you're going to have to come on by that event on the Thursday afternoon. And in typical AOA fashion, it's going to be a lot of really great fun there at Optometry's meeting. So very much looking forward to being a part of that with you guys.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And I will be sure to put your contact information at the end of our podcast here, so that any of our viewers who want to reach out to you, learn more about you, learn how Akrinos can help them grow their business and or exit their business, if that's the stage of their career, we'll make sure to share your information. Eric, we've talked a lot about our core values here at Payroll Centric. 3 very simple core values: compliance, ease, and care. Everything that we do, I'm sure you understand, everything that we do here is compliance-based, whether it's making sure that somebody's paid correctly, paid on time, their pay stub is according to, whatever state laws, everything that we do is compliance. And with respect to ease, our job is to make our clients' lives easier in being compliant, to make our clients' employees' lives easier in getting access to their pay and payroll information. And then, of course, care is the reason why I started the business in the first place, Eric. You know, it can be payroll can be very transactional, but I care about the human aspect of payroll. I care about the business owner. I care about the payroll administrator. I care about the employees that work for the companies that we support, and uh, our staff is 100% in alignment with our values: compliance, ease, and care, and that starts from the interview process. So I know you and I have been working together now for about a year, and we've got some common clients now. I hope you've had a chance to experience our values in action in real time.
Absolutely, Baha, and that's I think that's a really nice fitting way to kind of pull things together, right? Because let's face it, man. No matter where a doctor is in their journey, or in your case at Payroll Centric, a business owner is in their journey.
Yeah.
But certainly where we overlap and serving optometrists together, there's a lot going on. There's a lot that they're responsible for. It's a
Yeah.
huge responsibility to run a practice. I mean,
Yeah.
man, can you imagine outside of running, payroll business and all that stuff? Like you had all this like medical compliance and stuff that you had to fly with
Right.
as well. Like
Yeah.
it's wild, man. But that care piece, I think, is what really sets people up for success in a way that I think increasingly folks are looking for these days, right? With so many things. I mean, did you know that during this 25-minute conversation, we could have created a business from scratch thanks to AI? Like, come on, man, get that stuff out of here. I think
Right.
folks are really looking for deeper, meaningful relationships in the parties they work with. And, you guys are definitely delivering. And I will say in our work with our clients that are working with Payroll Centric, it's apparent that care shines through. So,
It's funny. I posted something last week on LinkedIn about how some people just compare apples to oranges in terms of payroll services. Oftentimes businesses are trying to compare what we do to SaaS organizations out there, and I tell people all the time that Payroll Centric, we offer software and a service, not software as a service.
sure.
Offers software and a service. So thank you very much for being on our podcast today. I'm sure it won't be the last time. Just in preparing for this, you and I identified a couple other topics that we can talk about and add value to your clients and to our clients and to optometrists at large. So, and to everybody out there listening, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Payroll Centric podcast. I just want to remind you all that Payroll Centric, we're dedicated to simplifying payroll processes for our clients. We act as an extension of your organization, and our approach is pretty simple. We offer personalized service. We tailor it to each of our clients' unique requirements, and we back it with a steadfast commitment to compliance, ease, and care, exceptional care. And beyond our core values, Payroll Centric offers solutions such as payroll, timekeeping, HR, retirement planning, workers' comp, health insurance, the whole thing. So if you've got any interest in learning about Payroll Centric and what it is that we have to offer, whether you're an existing client or thinking about using Payroll Centric, love to hear from you. Thank you again, Eric, for being on our show.
Thanks, Baha.
Take care.